Yo, 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 this is your boy Mr. Marlon ASHER, and right now you're tuned in to 2B Caribbean. Remember, me tell you, keep the thing locked. Rock.
Greetings, welcome to Ambassador 5, a series where we showcase a Caribbean cultural ambassador who's actively promoting our culture throughout the world. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking to Mr. Marlon ASHER, the Ganja farmer himself. Welcome, welcome.
Blessing and pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So let's jump right into it. So one of the things we know is that Marlon ASHER, the Ganja farmer, is one of the pioneers of the reggae movement in Trinidad and Tobago. Tell us a little bit about how that actually happened and what inspired you.
Well, actually, I've been singing from a tender age, I've been singing in my grandfather's church choir. I had the pleasure of being introduced to reggae music, at a very young age, and I held fast to that, so me making music in Trinidad was always, something that I love and something that I hold dear. Being a pioneer came about because, I was trying to make a difference trying to bring about something that the youths can, have, to fall on, because there was not a lot of industries, so at that time, it was a pleasure making music and being that, stone that people think is a pioneer.
So, as we all know, all pioneers in history, you face opposition, and especially in Trinidad where, the music we know is soca. What kind of pushback did you get with trying to get reggae music throughout the country?
Well, there was a lot of negativity, because, a lot of people thought, you should sing soca, you should do this, but, at that time, reggae music also was, being played a lot in Trinidad. So I guess that's the reason why my manager at the time decided, hey, let's release this music in New York. So that way, it wouldn't look like if, I'm just trying to sing reggae music in Trinidad. It will also show that I, intend to take this music far and abroad, So one of the reasons for releasing it abroad also is that we try to reach a broader market than just Trinidad, who was just a small market listening reggae music at the time. And some of the fights were like people were thinking that I'm trying to influence the younger ones but they only, trying to turn the youths into pothead, but they all realized that, this song was just raising awareness of what is going on with the farmers at that time, because there was a program at the time eradicated marijuana, So, yeah.
Of course, I have to ask you, what was the inspiration behind Ganja Farmer? I know you just kind of touched on it, but tell us a little bit more about, your lyrics and, how it came about.
Well, the lyrics was very simple, I, had some friends that were actually planting and had lost everything. So I wanted to highlight that, and I also listened to them talk about what the industry that they were in were doing for their kids and, how it was helping them get by in life. So I tried to put that in there. And at that time, there were talks about, legalizing marijuana for medicinal purposes. Not in Trinidad, but, there were talks going on. Because I tried to do a little research also while I was doing the song, Yeah, and there were talks about legalizing marijuana for, medical purposes. It was nothing that people were looking at, but it was just something that flashed by and it caught my attention. So I tried to put that in there too. So, that was it, in the making.
So it seems like your career has come full circle from Ganja Farmer. We have Life of a Ghetto Youth Tour, and then most recently we have a Sukkah Song. Keep up. Tell us about that journey and why you touch on those different things that you did and how you landed on soca music.
Well, if I could touch on the life of a Ghetto Youth tour, I had the pleasure of performing with Sizzler, Kalonji, and he was like, this should be a movement and not just a performance, So the people behind me, which is the vast production team, they reached out to him and said, yo, that was a good idea, let's try and make it happen. And the music came, the songs were recorded, and the rest was history. Me personally, my journey is one where, I've tried, to make music that, is relevant and pertain to people, people can relate to. So, making that new song, soca music, was just an attempt for me, to reach out to a different market and to try and show my Trini ability as a musician, if I can say that.
Cool. So you're building your brand. You continue to try, as you say, expand to different markets. And one of those markets includes an apparel line, right? Diversifying your brand. So tell us a little bit more about what that is, the business angle behind it, and how people could find out more about it.
Well, actually, traveling and coming to America made me realize that music is not just performing and recording, There is a lot more business behind, the music industry. There's royalties, there is branding, there is, marketing. There's a lot of different things that you can get into as an artist. And, my apparel and my glass and apparel was something that, came about, first and foremost came about as, I was doing a show and, I got some merch in form of a payment, cause this company, they made hats and they wanted to make a hat for me to commemorate the show. So, but they made 450 hats. So they gave me 450 hats, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna try and sell some of these hats and, get it out there to people so they'll know who Marlon ASHER is. Because I had to formulate a logo and, so after this, I could do a lot more, I started making bongs, and everything to do with smoking marijuana. And then I say, you know what, I could have some t-shirt in there, some socks, and tank tops and jackets. And it's just been growing, more and more merchandise coming as the time goes on, And yeah, the Ganja Farmer apparel, it's something that we want it to be, not just something that you find in a store, but something authentic that you buy and you will cherish, So everything we do is kind of out there, if I may say. It's kind of the best of everything. Well, you could find, any social media you think you could look for Ganja Farmer. It's the official Ganja Farmer glass and apparel, and you could also find, me Instagram. Anywhere you can find Mr. Marlon ASHER, and click on Marlon ASHER. There is a link to the Ganja Farmer. So or if you find a vast production page, you could also get a straight direct link to the Ganja Farmer. So it's everywhere. My website is, it's in the making. I've done a lot of photos for it, and it's about to drop, and soon you can order straight from the website and make it an official business.
Well, Marlon, we really appreciate everything that you're contributing, both to the musical landscape and just in general the business of music. And we're looking forward to seeing what comes next, man.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you guys for having me.
See me through, see me through. Songs and prayer, man, for the experiment of life of man. People are suffer down in a Babylon. Now we to run away to turn this in German. Run to the rock of salvation. Pray, 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 cause the time is at hand. Pray, cause the Babylon time has come. Pray, cause the ready sanction and down in a Babylon.